That trailer didn't just tease season 3, it quietly exposed everything Maxton Hall has been hiding. And if you blinked, you missed clues that could change Ruby and James forever. When the Maxton Hall season 3 trailer finally dropped, it didn't come in loud or flashy, it came in heavy. The kind of heavy that sits in your chest and makes you realize this story is about to end. And it's not going to end gently from the very first seconds. The trailer makes one thing clear: nothing is safe anymore, not Ruby's future, not James' loyalty. And definitely not the Bowfort family secrets that have been buried for years. The trailer opens with silence, the uncomfortable kind. Before we see Ruby standing alone at Maxton Hall, her suspension hanging over her like a sentence she never deserved. There's no confidence in her eyes this time, just exhaustion. The show has always painted Ruby as strong, but season 3 looks ready to test her in ways we haven't seen before. The trailer keeps cutting back to whispers, looks exchanged behind closed doors. And that same recurring question that's haunted the show since season 1. Who's really pulling the strings? James, on the other hand, looks completely fractured. Every shot of him feels split between anger and regret. The trailer heavily leans into his isolation, his friends feel distant, his family feels hostile. And his name, it's being dragged through conversations that imply betrayal. The most chilling part is how the trailer frames him as the possible reason behind Ruby's downfall. Not directly confirming it, but letting the doubt sit there, growing heavier with every scene. That's not accidental. Season 3 is clearly built around mistrust. Then there's Mortimer Bowfort. The trailer doesn't give him much screen time, but every second he's on screen feels intentional. Cold stares, quiet confidence. The kind of villain who doesn't need to raise his voice because he already owns the room. The breakdown of the Bowfort empire isn't loud either, it's subtle. Contracts being signed, doors closing, power shifting. Hands. Season 3 looks less about explosive drama and more about psychological warfare. One moment that stands out is Percy. The trailer flashes him alone again, mirroring that haunting season to finale energy, the same grief, the same unanswered questions. But now, the camera lingers just a second longer, almost daring us to notice that he knows more than he's saying. The Bowfort family past keeps creeping back into the present, and season 3 seems ready to finally dig it up. What makes this trailer hit harder is what it doesn't show. There's no reassurance, no clear romance moments, no promise that love will fix everything. Instead, the trailer leans into emotional distance. Ruby and James are often shown apart, separated by walls, crowds, or silence. When they do share the screen, it's tense, like they're holding back words that could either save them or destroy everything. The pacing of the trailer mirrors that tension perfectly. Short clips, sudden cuts, conversations that start but never finish. It feels like Maxton Hall is intentionally putting us in the same position as the characters. Confused, suspicious, desperate for truth. Season 3 isn't teasing comfort, it's teasing consequences, and that's what makes this trailer so powerful. It doesn't tell us what's going to happen, it tells us how it's going to feel: heavy, unfair, emotional, like every choice made in the past 2 seasons is about to collide. All at once. This isn't just the next chapter. This is the beginning of the end. And the trailer makes sure we understand that nothing will come easy this time. As the trailer moves forward, it becomes clear that season 3 isn't just about fixing what broke in season 2, it's about exposing the truth behind it. The trailer starts layering moments that feel disconnected at first, but the more you think about them, the more they line up like pieces of a much darker puzzle. Every glance, every unfinished sentence, every reaction shot feels intentional, like the show is daring us to read between the lines. One of the strongest themes running through the trailer is blame. Ruby is carrying it publicly, while James is carrying it silently. We see Ruby being watched, judged, whispered about. The suspension isn't just a punishment, it's a stain. The trailer shows her walking through familiar spaces that suddenly feel hostile, like Maxton Hall itself has turned its back on her. And the most painful part is that the doubt isn't only coming from strangers. It's coming from people she trusted. James' storyline feels like it's built entirely on pressure. Every frame of him feels tight, boxed in, like there's no room left to breathe. His father's shadow is everywhere, even when Mortimer isn't on screen. The trailer hints that James is being forced into decisions he doesn't fully control, choices that make him look guilty even when he might not be. That's what makes the tension between him and Ruby feel so raw. The trailer doesn't show big arguments, it shows distance, and sometimes distance hurts more than words. There's a moment in the trailer where James looks like he wants to speak, like he's about to finally explain everything, but the scene cuts away before he can. That cut is brutal because it tells us season 3 is going to be full of moments like that. Truth delayed, confessions interrupted, feelings buried under fear and pride. The show has always thrived on emotional restraint, and this trailer doubles down on it, then the focus shifts back to the Bowfort family. And this is where the trailer quietly gets dangerous. We see flashes of documents, old photographs, locked drawers, and long stares at things that clearly hold meaning. The past isn't staying buried anymore. Cordelia's presence is felt even without her being there. The trailer suggests that her story, her choices, and her secrets are about to reshape everything James thought he knew about his family. Percy's role becomes more unsettling the longer the trailer goes on. He's not just grieving anymore, he's observing, watching conversations from a distance, listening instead of speaking. The trailer frames him as someone standing between the past and the present. And that alone raises red flags, it feels like Season 3 is positioning him as a key holder. Someone who knows the truth but hasn't decided yet whether to protect it or destroy everything with it. What really elevates the trailer is how it treats love. It doesn't romanticize it, it tests it. Ruby and James aren't shown as a couple fighting the world together. They're shown as two people standing on opposite sides of a storm, unsure if reaching for each other will help or make things worse. That uncertainty is the heart of the trailer. Love isn't the solution this time. It's the risk, asterisk. By the time this part of the trailer ends, the message is clear. Season 3 isn't asking whether Ruby and James love each other. It's asking whether love is enough when power, lies, and family legacies are actively working against them, and that question hangs heavy because the trailer doesn't promise an easy answer. As the trailer pushes deeper, the tone shifts from uncertainty to quiet dread. This is the point where Season 3 stops feeling like a continuation and starts feeling like a reckoning. The music drops lower, the shots slow down, and suddenly every character looks like they're standing on the edge of something they can't step back from. The trailer isn't teasing drama anymore, it's warning us. Ruby's storyline becomes heavier here. The trailer shows her trying to hold onto her Oxford dream while everything around her actively works against it. There's a clear sense that she's running out of time, meetings that feel cold, authority figures who've already made up their minds. The trailer makes it painfully obvious that clearing her name won't be enough. Even if the truth comes out, the damage is already done, and that's what hurts the most. Season 3 looks ready to explore how unfair systems don't just punish actions, they erase opportunities. What's striking is how Ruby doesn't break loudly. She doesn't scream or collapse. Instead, the trailer shows her growing quieter, more guarded. There's strength there, but it's exhausted strength, the kind that comes from fighting too many battles alone. One shot in particular lingers on her face as she listens to accusations she knows aren't true. The camera doesn't move away, it forces us to sit in that moment with her. Season 3 isn't afraid to be uncomfortable. James' arc, meanwhile, feels like it's heading toward a breaking point. The trailer hints that he's starting to see the full picture, not just about Ruby, but about his family. There are moments where he looks genuinely shaken, like something he believed his entire life is falling apart in real time. The Bowfort legacy, once framed as privilege and power, now looks more like a cage, and the trailer makes it clear that James is being forced to choose between protecting that legacy or destroying it. Mortimer's influence grows darker here. Even when he's silent, his presence controls the room. The trailer suggests that his manipulation runs deeper than we thought, reaching into schools, reputations, and futures. This isn't just about controlling James anymore. It's about control, period. Who gets access? Who gets punished? Who gets erased? Season 3 is setting Mortimer up not just as a villain, but as the embodiment of the system Ruby is fighting against. Then there's the mystery surrounding Cordelia. The trailer drops subtle but powerful hints that her story was never fully told. We see objects that belong to her, files that were clearly hidden on purpose, conversations that stop the moment someone walks in. It feels like Season 3 is finally ready to answer the question the show has been circling for 2 seasons: what really happened? And who benefited from keeping it quiet? Percy becomes more central here, and it's unsettling. The trailer frames him as someone who's been watching from the sidelines for far too long. His grief feels layered now, mixed with guilt and knowledge. There's a strong sense that Percy holds a key piece of the truth, something that could either save Ruby or completely shatter the Bowfort family. And the trailer makes us wait, refusing to show which path he'll choose. The emotional distance between Ruby and James reaches its peak in this section. The trailer shows them missing each other by seconds, standing in the same spaces at different times, like fate itself is keeping them apart. When they do cross paths, the tension is unbearable. Words are left unsaid, trust feels fragile, and the question becomes unavoidable. Are they being torn apart by lies or by their inability to face the truth together? By the end of this part of the trailer, Season 3 feels less like a love story and more like a test. A test of loyalty, of courage, of how much truth someone can handle before everything they know collapses. And the trailer makes one thing painfully clear: Not everyone is going to walk away from this hole. This is where the trailer stops circling the storm and drives straight into it. The pacing sharpens. The cuts become faster and the weight of everything that's been hinted at finally starts to press down on the characters. Season 3 isn't hiding its intentions anymore. It's about consequences and no one is walking away untouched. Ruby's fight becomes more than just clearing her name. The trailer shows her realizing that even if she proves her innocence, the system that judged her so quickly may never fully let her back in. There's a quiet shift in her energy. She's no longer just reacting, she's questioning everything. Her place at Maxton Hall, her future, and most painfully, her relationship with James. The trailer frames her as someone standing at a crossroads, forced to decide whether holding on is worth the cost. James, at the same time, is clearly reaching his limit. The trailer hints at confrontations that feel long overdue, not loud arguments, but moments where silence finally breaks. His loyalty to his family is cracking. And what replaces it is fear. Fear of what he might uncover, fear of what choosing the truth could destroy. Season 3 positions James not as a hero, but as someone who has to unlearn everything he was raised to believe. The Bowfort family secrets start to feel less like background mystery and more like a ticking clock. The trailer shows glimpses of legal pressure, inheritance questions, and power struggles happening behind closed doors. Cordelia's legacy hangs over everything. There's a strong implication that her will, her choices, and the way her story was handled may expose lies that were meant to stay buried forever. And when those lies come out, they won't just affect the family. They'll affect everyone connected to them. Percy's role sharpens into something far more dangerous. The trailer frames him as someone standing between truth and destruction. His expressions are heavier, more conflicted. It feels like he's carrying information that could change everything. But revealing it would mean losing the last pieces of the life he knew. Season 3 is clearly pushing him toward an impossible decision. And the trailer makes us feel the weight of that choice without ever spelling it out. What's especially powerful is how the trailer treats justice. It doesn't present it as guaranteed or fair. Instead, it asks whether truth is enough in a world built to protect power. Ruby's struggle isn't just personal anymore, it becomes symbolic. She represents every person who did everything right and still got punished because they didn't belong. That theme quietly runs through the entire trailer, making Season 3 feel bigger than just romance or drama. The relationship between Ruby and James becomes the emotional center of this chaos. The trailer shows them finally starting to question not just each other but themselves. Can they trust without full answers? Can they fight together when their worlds are designed to stay apart? The moments they share are heavy, loaded with emotion, but still restrained. Season 3 isn't promising a fairy tale, it's promising honesty, even if it hurts. As this section of the trailer closes, there's a sense that lines have been crossed and can't be uncrossed. Choices have been made, even if they weren't spoken out loud. And the feeling left behind is unsettling, because it's clear now that the final season isn't about fixing the past. It's about surviving the truth. The final stretch of the trailer feels quieter, but somehow heavier than everything that came before it. This is where Maxton Hall stops building tension and lets it settle. There are fewer words, fewer confrontations, but every look carries meaning. Season 3 isn't rushing toward an ending, it's bracing us for one. Ruby is no longer framed as someone chasing a dream. She's shown standing still, reflecting, like she's finally realized that some dreams come with conditions she never agreed to. The trailer suggests that her biggest battle might not be against Maxton Hall, or even against the Bowfort family, but against the idea that she has to sacrifice herself to fit into a world that never wanted her in the first place. That shift is powerful, because it means her future may look very different from what she originally imagined. James' journey reaches a moment of clarity here. The trailer hints that he finally understands the cost of silence. Protecting his family's name has protected lies, and those lies have destroyed people he cares about. The weight of that realization is written all over him. Season 3 frames his final arc as a choice between comfort and truth, and the trailer makes it clear that whatever he chooses, he won't walk away unchanged. The Bowfort legacy finally starts to crumble in these final moments, not in explosions or chaos, but in exposure. The trailer suggests that once the truth about Cordelia comes out, the power structure holding everything together won't survive. Inheritance, reputation, control, all of it feels fragile now. And the show makes it clear that sometimes the most dangerous thing isn't losing power, it's losing the story you told yourself to justify it. Percy's storyline feels like the emotional key to everything. The trailer gives him a few final, haunting moments that suggest his decision will set the ending in motion. Whether he chooses to protect the past or reveal it, the consequences will be permanent. Season 3 positions him not as a side character but as a catalyst, Someone whose truth could finally bring justice or finally destroy what's left. The final images of the trailer focus on distance. Ruby and James aren't shown holding each other or promising forever. They're shown standing apart, looking toward uncertain futures. And that choice feels intentional. Maxton Hall isn't asking whether they'll end up together. It's asking whether they'll end up free from lies, free from expectations, free from a system that decided who they were allowed to be. As the trailer fades out, one thing becomes clear. Season 3 isn't about winning, it's about reckoning, about choosing truth over comfort. Even when it costs everything, and when Maxton Hall finally closes its doors. It won't just be the end of a school year, it'll be the end of a story, built on secrets and the beginning of something none of them can walk away from unchanged. If this trailer is any indication, Maxton Hall Season 3 isn't here to give easy answers. It's here to make us feel every consequence along the way. As the trailer lingers in our minds, the final layer of tension starts to reveal itself. Secrets don't stay hidden forever. And Maxton Hall is no exception. The trailer teases that Season 3 will pull every thread the show has been weaving since Season 1, unraveling relationships, loyalties, and the very foundations of the Bowfort family. It's not just a finale, it's an unmasking. Every character faces the reality that their choices, their lies, and their silence have consequences far bigger than they imagined. Ruby's arc reaches a point where hope and fear collide. The trailer hints at moments where she's forced to confront not just the people who wronged her, but the system that allowed it to happen. Her suspension, the constant whispers, the betrayal. Season 3 seems ready to confront every injustice she endured, and yet, even amid the pressure, there's resilience. Ruby isn't just surviving. She's learning who she is when the world isn't on her side, and the trailer makes sure we feel the weight of that transformation. James' journey parallels Ruby's struggle, but it's shaded differently. The trailer shows him questioning everything he thought he knew about family, loyalty, and love. Every decision feels like a step toward clarity or a step toward irreparable damage. Mortimer's manipulations, Percy's silence, Cordelia's hidden legacy, all of it forces James to grow, to adapt, to choose whether he becomes a pawn in the family game or the player who reshapes it. The tension of knowing he's trapped between love and truth is palpable. Family dynamics explode in subtle ways throughout the trailer. The Bowfort family, once untouchable, now looks fractured. Lydia's pregnancy, the shifting loyalties, and the exposure of long-hidden secrets all add layers to the story. The trailer hints that these personal stakes will collide with the public consequences, making Season 3 not just about individual survival, but about legacy. Every choice, every revelation, every whispered conversation could rewrite their world completely. The trailer also leans heavily into suspense and psychological tension. Moments where characters glance over their shoulder, doors close with finality, and documents are revealed in dim light show that Season 3 is as much a thriller as it is drama. Trust is a currency more valuable than gold, and the trailer makes it clear that Ruby and James won't know who to rely on until the very end. Even those who seem closest to them might have their own agendas. Finally, the trailer closes by emphasizing that Season 3 is about reckoning. Ruby and James are no longer just fighting for love or justice, they're fighting for truth in a world that's never been fair. Every secret uncovered, every lie exposed, every choice made carries irreversible weight, and as the final frames linger, we're left with one undeniable truth. Maxton Hall Season 3 isn't just the end of a story. It's the moment where everything these characters have fought for either collapses completely or finally comes together in a way that will leave us breathless. Season 3 promises closure, heartbreak, and revelations, and the trailer sets the tone perfectly: dark, thrilling, and impossible to look away from.